I've been waiting a long time for Titan Quest 2. In fact, it's one of the reasons I started looking into Diablo-like games in the first place. While waiting, I ended up playing Grim Dawn and Torchlight, so my expectations were pretty high going into this. I put around 24 hours into the game and even started a second character to give it a fair shot. On the technical side, I didn't encounter any major bugs or crashes, which is definitely a positive. However, I did notice some frame drops in certain areas. Overall, performance was acceptable, but not perfect. I'll keep the story part short since I usually skip most dialogue in action RPGs. From what I saw, it follows a fairly standard formula. You fight enemies, do some sucking of enemies, and keep pushing forward. Nothing particularly stood out to me here. Visually, the game looks good. The environments are well designed and there are plenty of enemies on screen, which gives it that classic ARPG feel. At first glance, it seems like it has everything it needs, but once you actually start playing, the problems become more noticeable. The biggest issue for me is combat. It feels too simple and lacks impact. Enemies don't have much variety, and fighting them becomes repetitive pretty quickly. When I think back to Titan Quest 1, I remember how satisfying combat felt. Hits had real impact and enemies would sometimes go flying across the screen. Just look at this footage. This is exactly what I mean. The enemies are flying around after the impact from your mace. How fun that was. That kind of feedback and fun factor feels missing here. Another major problem is the lack of depth in character building. Skills and talents don't seem to interact in meaningful ways, and I never felt like I was creating something unique or powerful. Throughout most of my playthrough, I kept asking myself where to put my points just to feel even slightly stronger. By around level 20, my build already felt complete, and after that point, progression slowed down a lot. I never unlocked anything that felt truly impactful, and my character didn't seem to evolve much beyond the early levels. Because of that, the game also struggles with replayability. One of the main strengths of ARPGs is trying different builds, experimenting with skills, and finding new ways to play. Here, I just didn't feel motivated to do that. After finishing the campaign, there wasn't much that made me want to keep going or start over again. What's disappointing is that it feels like the game is missing the core elements that made the original Titan Quest fun. Things like exploring secrets, collecting interesting gear sets, and gradually becoming overpowered. That sense of progression and discovery just isn't strong enough here. In the end, I wouldn't say the game's terrible. It has some good visuals and a stable technical foundation, but it feels too simple and lacks depth. As someone who enjoys old-school action RPGs, this just didn't deliver what I was hoping for. I had a few enjoyable moments, but most of the time I found myself losing interest and needing breaks. At the end of the day, Titan Quest 2 has a solid foundation, but it's missing the depth and satisfying combat that made the original so memorable. It's not a bad game, but right now it feels too simple to keep you invested long-term. I really wanted this to capture the magic of the first game, but at this stage, I don't see it holding players for long. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps more than you think. And let me know in the comments what you think about Titan Quest 2.